What is up, Jabronis? JJ back here with the golf crew, talking a little Honda Classic. We have Mangone, we have Kurt, we have Snyder. Interesting takes from last week. First of all, just want to be very clear. I have been getting brutalized in the college basketball streets the last 2 to 3 weeks, which has really put a dent on my Vegas trip last weekend, which wasn't ideal in that regard. So I have made some changes. I have made a chain change. You guys are used to a Figaro chain. We now are going underneath with the tennis necklace underneath the cross. So just trying to change things up, trying to change up the mojo. It was nice to land our boy John Ram last week over Rory. That was a nice little scoop up for the show, because the show needs some winners, and it was nice to. It's always nice to slam the button when you're sensing arrogance. So that was good. Mangone, you look like you have a lot to say. I'm going to go over to you briefly. How was your week last week, and what are you looking forward to this week?
Yeah, Uncle, if you remember on this said show, we had a man named Uncle T, who I love you, Uncle T, but you kind of cut me off and you said, oh, are we allowed to pick the top guy on the board? I didn't pick him to win the tournament, to be clear. I picked him as my favorite DFS play. I said he'd come in under own. I said there's some guys like Rory who make excuses, and others like John Rahm who are alphas and fight through. Came in lower own, got the job done, just like you said, Dunkel, on the Print Factory. They were laughing at you, saying, "Oh, you're taking the Chiefs and the Eagles," and then what happened? The Chiefs and the Eagles are into the finals. I just say sometimes that's what hits, and last week that's what was gonna hit. So, happy to be back, happy to bring some winners for the people again, and happy you hit the button, Dunkel, and did the right thing.
Yeah, and I just want to be clear, when I sense like confidence heading into arrogance, the button gets hit. So you got to be careful. You got to come prepared on the show, because you will fucking lose money. So, be prepared. Be prepared. Obviously, Snyder, you'll get your fair share at a crack backwards for sure. Let me just give a quick shout out to the chat. Obviously, our boy Nade in there, Fat Lowry. Imagine ever picking him. My car. Appreciate you. Is that Beefy? The threes, I guess. Beefy 5-layer. Okay, like it. Best show. Appreciate you. Richie Smalls. Thank you, Jason. The Bumpsta. Kurt, you're getting a lot of love. I'll slide over to you. You look like you're about to shit yourself, kind of. What's going on? How was your week last week?
Pretty good. Definitely made a profit. Not on the bet side. I actually had a bad bets week for golf, but DFS was good. Made some money, and then I lost on college basketball the next day on Monday. But yeah, so college basketball was going pretty good tonight. I really like the golf winners we got going here. I like the shitter tournaments, so I'm excited. And we got it back at 6:50 in the morning, which is great because that's when I work out. So like, it's kind of dope that like I can kind of follow it while that's going on. So I'm glad that we're away from the 10 a.m. starts and shit. So pretty pumped.
Cool. And Snyder, of course, last but not least, another fantastic episode of Snyder's Shoulders. Snyder's Shoulders, fantastic. And Snyder's Soldiers. So what's going on? How was your week last week? Obviously, the John Ram thing didn't work out, but how was your week overall?
Yeah, it wasn't too good last week. I had a lot of Taylor Moore. He was sitting top 20 with 6 holes left and somehow managed to miss the cut. I think he played those last 6 holes at like 6 over to miss the cut, which is kind of hurtful. Morikawa didn't do that much. Rory didn't do that much, obviously. So I think I ended up down some last week, but oh well. It's looking forward to bounce back here. We got a really good event here too, with some diamonds in the rough, and there's a chance where we can fade potentially 70% of ownership by just knocking off a couple guys up top. So I'm kind of excited to get into this event.
Cool. So speaking of that, let's segue right into your course breakdown, which is multiple people's favorite time of the week. So go ahead, fire away, Snyder.
Yeah, we're going to be the PGA is going to travel cross country here. We're going to be in Florida now, as Kurt had mentioned a little bit ago. We're away from California, back in California, or back in Florida here at PGA National for the Honda Classic here. The par 70 is going to measure 7,125 yards, larger than average Bermuda grass greens here. Going to measure right around 7,000 square feet on average, and they're going to be rolling at around 12 on the stent meter. This is a very tough track here with holes. With the teeth of these holes going to be 15 through 17. That's named the Bear Trap, as everybody probably knows by now. all three of these holes are going to be exposed to the wind and have water in play. Very tough holes. But there is a couple other holes that are very tough on this track as well. Hole 6 has a 30% bogey rate and even a 7% double bogey rate. And then hole 10 has a 22% bogey rate as well. Bombers haven't had the greatest success here, but because of the narrow fairways, there's water everywhere. So I think I'm going to be looking for some more accuracy off the tee here. 15 holes are going to have water in play here. The rough is even going to play a little longer this year as well, as they've grown it out to 2.5 inches, which is going to play about a half an inch longer than it has previously. So that'll be interesting to watch. There's only 2 par 5s here, so golfers must take advantage of these very little scoring opportunities they have here. So looking at that, the cut line will probably be over par, as it's been over par the last 5 years. Looking for a winning score somewhere around that -6 to -10 range here. So it's definitely going to play completely different than what we saw so far this year. Some key stats we'll be looking at: strokes gained approach off the tee, bogey avoidance, scrambling around the green, and proximity 125 to 150.
Just consistent with the stats per course. You just absolutely love to see. It's like a chef's kiss every single week. I will ask you guys this before we get into your guys' plays you like in DFS. You know the field's watered down. I mean, granted, and I'm very novice in these golf streets, but you know the field's watered down when Shane Lowry's the second favorite on the board. What is going on there? Obviously Im's at the top, but Lowry as the second guy, is there any true love for him?
I mean, if we're going to be betting the buffet line, right? Because buffets are open in Florida, I'll tell you that. But I don't understand the Shane Lowry thing. That's the thing that absolutely blows my mind. I don't think he should be the second best. Listen, this is a very, very terrible field, but second on the board just seems egregious. I think there's guys below him that should be above him on this board.
I agree there. I can't believe that Lowry's going to be pushing 30% ownership possibly, and Sung Jae Im's going to be pushing 50% ownership, I think. So that's definitely you got to make some choices up there up top. I think Lowry is definitely the guy I'm looking to cut, and possibly Im as well there as well. What's your thoughts there, Mangone, Kerr? What are you doing with Im this week? Just curious on your guys' takes.
I think I'm just playing him just because I don't see a lot of pivots at the top, right? I think DFS-wise, that's one of the biggest things I noticed when I kind of ran through some stuff is like, what pivots are there, right? Yes, I think there are some guys in the 9K range, but I think I'm just eating that chalk. I mean, he's been great typically at this event. Last year, I think people remember he missed the cut and he was very high owned. I don't think he missed the cut again here, but I'm currently just eating that chalk and doing a different construction. I always like to look for one spot to get a bit different. And I think I have kind of nailed that spot of where I'm going to go to, which I'll talk about when we get into our DFS picks.
Yeah, and even Nade likes him some Sanjay this week. But Kurt, before we get into DFS, your thoughts on Sanjay this week?
Yeah, I mean, come on, guys. I mean, we know my snake.
It's got to be an obvious yes, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's Asian. Come on. I love that he missed the cut last year too. Even better.
That's true, right? Because obviously he kind of tanked here, right? And I think that they're seeing his ownership almost 50%. It looks like, and it probably would have been even higher, right, had he done it well here last year. But either way, Snyder, we'll start with you for DFS. Who's your high price guy you're going for? Obviously, feel free, because to me it's a watered down field. So to me, it's all in play. I typically don't like when you guys lay chalk, whether it's outrights or DFS, when it's a guy that's like 7-1 or 6-1. This is a completely wide open field. So anybody's in play this week. Who do you like on the high end of DFS? Who are you going to be overweight on? And then who's a value guy?
Actually, I think I'm going to be under on Sung Jae. So I'm going to be high on the guy I'm going to use for my outright, but I'll get to him later. I'm going to go down the board a little bit. I'm going to go with Ben Griffin. He's been a guy I've been on early in this year. He's not that expensive. I mean, he's easily to fit in. I don't think he's going to be that high owned either. It's looking like, I'm only seeing him at like 15% ownership. I think Ben Griffin's a guy that can compete at the top of this leaderboard. He's been good. Finished 12th at the Sony and has a couple other top 30s, or right around 30th, 31st and 32nd there at some tough tracks here at the Farmers and the Amex. So I definitely like Ben Griffin up top this week. And then for like a value, I'm going to be looking at my guy Peter Malinetti. He's kind of heating up there. 3 top 20s in his last 4 events. He's going to be under 5% owned, maybe even like 2 or 3% owned. So I like Mr. Malinetti at the bottom there at 7.1.
Well, it didn't take long to mention a player I've never heard of. So Peter Malinetti. Awesome. Kurt, we'll go to you. DFS. What do you like this week?
Going up top, going Aaron Wise. He's first in difficult scoring. I mean, some of these, the field's bad. Like, we know like 4 of these guys are a tier above. So give me Aaron Wise. I mean, Bermuda Greens, top 20 here too. A couple other stats to point out, but like we know what we're doing up here. So give me Aaron Wise is my favorite at the top. For value, I'm going Carl Jung. Coming off a rough stretch after 3 made cuts in a row early in the year. Now gets a much softer field. I think he does have some good bogey avoidance. He doesn't get too crazy off the tee. So I think he can pull a Snyder's Soldiers and battle through the cut line for us and maybe even shock us on Sunday. Carl Jung.
Second player of the show that I've never heard of. Keep up the good work, guys.
Ben Griffin is,
What happened, Snyder?
You know who Ben Griffin was?
And not that I knew who he was, but I have heard his name said on the show too. So yeah, I couldn't. I tell you this, I couldn't. You could show me 100. You could show me.
Snyder might have the same matchup.
Would have had no clue what he looks like or anything, but I have heard his name before. Mangone, DFS. What do you like?
Yeah, first guy, you should know who he is, and I will say he is dealing with some kind of illness, but that's okay. We're going with Billy Horschel up top. It's kind of a recent thing. He said he got medication. He's perfectly fine. Listen, I want anyone that's got medication, right? That's going to boost him and make him better. You know, I'm with it. Let's ride the medication. Let's hope that people jump off with the illness. That'll be enough to boost his energy and get him going there. Who knows? You might see me showing up with some medication to whoop Snyder's ass in the slab just to help. Boost his going. But yeah, I think Billy Ho gives you a different construction than the field. I think most people are going to Aaron Wise and Snyder, do I dare say like Johnny Vegas chalk week? Like, I mean, come on, like he's 8,600 and he's chalk. I'm not saying he's a bad play. The one thing I will say is he's of 9 of the 10 events, he's made the cut, which is phenomenal, but he hasn't had that many high upside finishes. I understand if you want to play him, but I ain't playing him with him and some of these other guys. I think about how I played him. And for me, I need to take a stand. And one of my stands in my single entry lineups will be I'm fading that Johnny Vegas range. I'm not going to Aaron Wise. I understand why Kurt likes him. I prefer going up to Billy Horschel at 9,700. So I play him and Sung J M. It leaves me with $7,400 and gives me a completely different build in the field. So give me Billy Horschel. I'm going to pair him up with Sung J at the top. And then my cheap guy that I really like, who I had in my thread today, I talk about how when I play these 7K guys, I'm not playing for my guys just to make the cut and then limp in there and get like a T60. That's not going to do anything for me, right? I need an upside guy, and it's going to be Dylan Fratelli. Fratelli, he finished T14 at the Waste Management Open. That was a Bermuda type course. And now you get him where he played at the Genesis. That was POA. He didn't do as well. Back on some Bermuda here. I think this is a pretty good spot to take a stab at Dylan Fratelli at 7,100 and chase the upside that he has. I think he's also done pretty well here at this event overall. So give me Dylan Fratelli as my cheap option.
Have heard of him. So good work there, Mangone. Awesome. So in terms of outright, I know you said that you were going to pair him with Im at the top. Do you dare go Im in your outright?
No, I can't make him my outright. I do think that I am going up for a bit of a – I mean, I am going for Billy Horschel again. I think the outright number on him is just wrong. He's 25-1 in spots where, like, if you look at the board, first of all, Shane Lowry at 15-1, I think that's completely wrong. I don't mind Wise being in the same range as Horschel. I have no arguments against that. But I'm pulling up and I'm stalling a little bit just to pull up the DK book and just to list off the guys that are in the same range as Billy Horschel. And listen, I just don't totally understand it. I mean, Matt Kuchar at 2,800, Min Woo Lee at 30-1. You got Denny McCarthy at 30-1, Adam Svensson at 30-1, Thomas Dietrich 35-1, Taylor Pendrith 35-1, Vegas 35-1, Poston 35-1, English 35-1, Chris Kirk, who's in the same DFS range as him, 35-1. I just think that Billy Horschel price is a really strong one. And if he had been playing a lot better going into this event, I think Billy Horschel's price would be up at that 15-1 range. But the good news is he's been playing all those West Coast swings where he's absolutely normally terrible. but now we get him back in Florida. His nickname's Bermuda Billy for a reason, right? He crushes on these courses. I think this is the spot to ride Bermuda Billy and get that first place finish with him at 25 to 1.
Love it. Love it. And yes, I've heard of Billy Horschel. Kurt, you're outright.
Thomas Dietrich, 35 to 1 on DK. I heard Tambo and Big T were talking shit about him today on their show. So I've been riding him all year. I mean, it's a weak field. He's popping in a lot of categories, obviously. The guy is hashtag legit good. No idea where the slander comes from. I'm sure they can point at some reasons, but they can also point at this dub this week at 35 to 1.
Love it. We appreciate the tongue as well. The backdrop that you currently have is absolutely fantastic. It's very there's a lot going on. So that's why we appreciate the tongue in the breakdown. Snyder, you're outright. What we like?
Yeah, I'm gonna end up going similar as Mangone here. I'm gonna start my teams with Billy Horschel this week. I'm gonna bet him at 30 to 1. I see him at 30 to 1 over on PointsBet and a couple other markets. So I really like that number on Billy. He's a Florida guy, Florida Gator, has a couple top 10s at this event, finished 16th here last year. And that was losing 4 strokes with the short game. So he usually putts all right on these Bermuda grass greens. He likes playing on Bermuda more so than POA. So I like Billy Horschel here. And I think he lost nearly 5 strokes putting last week, and that's why he kind of missed the cut there. But now he got to fly home a couple days earlier. Should be ready to roll here in Florida. So I like starting my teams with Billy Horschel and DFS and betting Billy Horschel at 30 to 1.
2 Billy Hoes on the outrights. Interesting.
If you want to hit the button on Shane Lowry, sign me up. I mean,
is it just me, or is like Kurt's chair look like one of those like kid table chairs? Like you just got like an Oshkosh Bagosh chair. You just kind of slide it right under the kiddie table. Your long shot. Who do we like?
For me on a long shot, I'm gonna go with Eric Cole at 125 to 1. I really like him. He's coming off the Korn Ferry Tour last year. Finished T3 at the Korn Ferry Tour Championship last year. Has made 6 of his 7 cuts here on tour, coming off a top 15 at Pebble Beach. Cole lives here in Florida too, just south of Palm Beach Gardens here. The irons have been solid. He's been good around the greens. I like Eric Cole at a big price of 125 to 1.
2 golfers Snyder's reference that I've never heard of. So great work there. Kurt, just in the nick of time. Who's your long shot?
All right. I'm right, another one of my guys. Vincent Norman. I like the kid coming in. The weak field, I can get him 180 to 1. I actually don't mind taking a couple sprinkles down here. Just absolutely crazy long shots. But I know it's a tough course, so you don't want to go too crazy. But Vincent Norman, 180 to 1. Guy's a ball striker. He's shown flashes at Farmers and American Express, but hit one bad round each time. Obviously, it's kind of scary here at a course like this. But, if he can avoid that, I think we can see a good finish from Vincent Norman. Maybe we can hit a 180 to 1 long shot.
Interesting. Nice, some fat odds there. Real quick, Jason or Richie was referencing Kuchar. No love for him. Mangone, you want to just touch on that before you give your long shot outright?
Yeah, Kuchar. I struggle with Kuchar. I will say I know he's been playing really good golf, and you're typically supposed to ride this wave, and I think he's fine, but he's not someone I'm taking any stand on. Right? If I run MME stuff and Kuchar pops up a little bit, I'm perfectly fine with him, but he's someone I'm just kind of letting the opto tell me what to do with him, if that makes sense. I don't have any strong take on it. He's someone I don't love I don't like these older guys, and when they go on a surge, I try to stay away, but I don't have a strong take on him. I wish I could give you something better, Uncle.
Fair. No, that's fine. And even, Jack mentioned Dietrich as well, or at least a comment on him separately. But Mangone, on your long shot, who are we going with?
Yeah, I'm going back to Fratelli at 90 to 1. I just think his upside's really good. And one thing I noticed when I kind of dug into that 7K range, I don't love a lot of these guys as outright options. I guess you could say like that, like part of the board where we go like 50 to 1 or higher, it's definitely not as glamorous as it is sometimes. I'll at least say that. And that just kind of shows you how hard the field is. But one thing I like about Fratelli is he's played this event 5 times in the last 5 years he's been here. And 2 of the times he's had top 16 finishes. And that's obviously something that's very encouraging. He's, again, one of those guys where when I kind of dig down in this range 90 to 1, I'm not trying to have him go there and, finish second, finish third. I need him to ship it. He has won tournaments in the past. He's competed at some big boy events too. I think this is an event where he can shine. Now that you get him off of the wherever they were playing on POA, right at the Genesis, that's where he lost 4.4 strokes. Now he's going to gain strokes, I think, on the Bermuda, and I think it's going to start clicking again. So give me Dylan Fratelli at 90 to 1.
Love it. And Kurt, apparently you're reading Lucky Charms. You're muted.
Yeah, I'm mute.
Tough scene. Still muted. Just a really tough scene.
Jeez.
Just a really tough scene.
There you go. Talk.
How the fuck did it mute itself on there? I'm not even. I think my phone did it. No, I mean Magic Spoon cereal. It's a healthy cereal. It's like $10 a box.
How about that humble brag?
I have seen. First of all, there's no chance they're $10 a box. Really?
With the shipping and everything, it costs $10 a
Dude,
box.
they're in Walmart these days. Okay, you can walk into Walmart. You can walk into Walmart and get them. I saw it the other day. I've seen that cereal before.
So they're $8. So I'm saving $2, and I got to drive to the store.
I mean, you never leave the house, Kurt, ever?
Nope.
Walmart's right across the street from my gym.
I don't like going to Walmart here. That's probably why.
I just want to say it's absolutely fantastic. Like the next time somebody asks me, like, if I'm eating expensive cereal, I'm going to make sure they know I'm eating expensive cereal.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Keto friendly, damn right.
Dunkel's going to roll up to Big T's in March and be like, look at like the breakfast spread and be like, nah, I'm going to have this $10 box of cereal instead.
You just walk in with the multiple $10 boxes of cereal. All right. Mango, T20, who do we like?
All right, T20. I believe, my T20 is going to be a repeat of a name, but I do think he's a pretty good option here. Ben Griffin, he's been playing some really good all-around golf. Missed the cut at the Pebble Beach. I think he's plus 230 here. When he missed the cut at Pebble Beach, right, it was a 3-course event. That's like the only event that he's really struggled at recently. So I'm going to give him a bit of a pass here. I think if he played well at Pebble Beach, you would have seen him be a trendy DFS option. You would have seen his number be a lot better. I think a lot of people are overlooking that. So I like him at plus 230. I think he's going to, really compete well in this weaker field. So also if you look at his last 9 events, when it comes to the approach game, he hasn't lost any strokes on approach in the past 9 events, which that's really impressive. And I did notice some of these pins on the first round, they're going to be tucked away a little bit in some tougher spots. And there's 15 holes with water, like Snyder said in the breakdown. You cannot be hitting the ball in the water. That's going to absolutely kill you. His accuracy is going to be good. I think it's going to help him to be able to be in that top 20 this week at plus 230.
Fair
I think there's going to be a ton of carnage here.
Kurt, I did a little brief looking into this Magic Spoon cereal. Keto friendly. Look at you. So you're paying $10 a box for keto friendly, high protein cereal, and you're eating it for dinner. What a life. What a life.
This is late. This looks like a midnight snack.
T20, who do we like?
T20. We got Aaron Rye, 2 gloves, baby. 250 in this field is just, look, I know he's not going to blow the doors off anyone, but Aaron, I think he's pretty solid. So in this field, I'll take the value on a plus 250 Aaron Rye to get top 20. I almost came top 20 for me last week, but much tougher field. I think he gets it done here.
Cool. And Snyder, before you give your T20, it looks like Mark's asking us about Danny Willett. I don't even know who the hell that is.
Oh, come on.
That's a former Masters champion, by the way. He's one of those guys that luck boxed into a major and kept his card for a very long time because of it.
So, Snyder, any thoughts on Danny Willett, 18th last week, top 3 scrambling? Any thoughts?
Yeah, he's fine. He's a solid option in that mid 7K range. If you want to go there, I wouldn't disadvise you. So he's only going to be around 5 to 7% owned. So I think he's a solid option there for tournaments.
Fair. And real quick, Kurt's over here, and Nate brings up a good point. $10
for cereal. That's hilarious.
From Oshkosh Bagosh. I think how about you spend less money on cereal and more money on something to go on your backdrop?
I'm about to move, so there's no point.
All right.
Big announcement. I'm moving to Florida next month.
Congrats. Early congrats. Snyder, T20, who do we like?
Yeah, I'm going to go with a kind of a chalkier option in DFS to finish top 20. I like his odds here, though. Johnny Vegas, plus 175 at DK to finish top 20. He's made the cut here 9 or 10 times. Has a top 5 here. Has a couple other top 20s at this event. He's been playing pretty good recent form too. He's been gaining a lot of strokes tee to green. I mean, the putter has been atrocious, but if he can get something figured out here on this different type of putting surface versus the West Coast, he's going to see some Bermuda grass here, which is going to be different. Hopefully it helps him kind of regain that putting form there. So I like Johnny Vegas plus 175.
Love it. Love it. Especially since I know Mangone had some questions over his upside. But, I mean, T20, you don't need to worry about that. Just slide inside the top 20. As far as matchups, Snyder, or maybe somebody we're going to be overweight on or underweight on, who do we like in matchups?
Yeah, I'm going to go with one of Kurt's guys here for a matchup here. I'm going to go with S.H. Kim minus 120 over Ryan Palmer. He's been playing some good golf here. I really like his upside for this type of event, too. Ryan Palmer hasn't been playing that good, so I kind of think that's telling a lot there, having Kim minus 120. So I'm looking at his he's been solid. He's 33rd, 41st, 20th, 12th at the Sony. I really like S.H. Kim here, even in DFS at mid 7Ks as well.
Awesome. And Kurt, I'll slide over to you. You're getting a lot of love in the chat over the way you're eating the cereal. Question, though, because I did see a Fairlife comment.
Yeah.
Knowing that Fairlife is like a Coke product, isn't it?
Can we get some guesses on what kind of milk I'm using?
I'm going to guess that you're a normal human and you don't consume dairy. So almond milk?
Ding, ding, ding. You are
yes.
First, gotta get the dark chocolate almond milk.
First crack, and knowing you, it's probably unsweetened almond milk.
What up, Landa? My turn?
So, yes, it actually is your turn. And yeah,
I'll
be honest, Kurt, this might be a hot take. I think you finished that cereal like 3 spoonfuls ago.
I did. Yeah, I've been drinking the milk out of the spoon.
All right, yeah, so who's your matchup?
All right, so a lot of love for Ben Griffin on here. So I already had him, but the time's up good. I am very concerned about Cam Davis right now, and they're letting me take Ben Griffin at plus 100 over Cam Davis. He's just not looked good, and like everything is bad. And I know this is a spot where you come and get right, but Cam Davis does not avoid bogeys well. So give me Ben Griffin plus money over Cam Davis. And that hurts me to say because I kind of want to see Cam have a good year, but
it's all good. It's all good. I'll tell you this, Dennis. I know you're saying Fairlife doesn't have lactose. Like I could be wrong. Like I used to drink Fairlife a while back. Like I'm pretty sure like Coca-Cola makes that milk, that fake milk. And the fact that it's non-lactose and it tastes just like milk, I mean, you might want to start looking at what's in that because the shit's as artificial as you'll find in relation to milk. It does taste good, but I promise you that you could do a lot better for you milk-wise. Mangone.
You drink almond milk as well?
I used to drink a ton of actual milk, but now I drink a decent amount of almond milk. Yeah.
Me too. Okay, sorry, Mangone.
No, yeah, sorry to interrupt you with our almond milk talk, Travis. But anyway, your matchup.
Yeah, glad to hear that Kurt's breakfast costs $16 now that we added almond milk.
Because he's paying extra.
How much it is?
I mean, it's absurd. I'm a man and I just drink the 2%. You know what I mean? Like it's not too bad. It gets the job done. Also have some Cocoa Rice Krispies as well. You know, so yeah, it gets the job done. I don't need that magic spoon $10 stuff. But let's keep this thing moving along. Let's talk about my top 20. So I'll admit, Dunkel, I almost pulled to you. I almost said, you look at the board and there's just not a matchup I love, and I'm not going to force something. But I'm a man of the people. People want winners, and I made sure to find one. I found a guy I don't really think I like that much at this event. I think it's Mr. Joey B. That's Joseph Bramlett, not Joseph Burrow. I think Joseph Bramlett is not really the guy to go for it. He's been playing great golf. Don't get me wrong. But as we talked about some of these other golfers, we're going from the West Coast swing to the East Coast swing. I think this is a great spot to bet against Bramlett, who has struggled on these Bermuda-type greens and been better in the past than the other ones. And I'm not playing him. I'm playing Steven Yeager, another option that will be chalky in DFS, but this is a great way to get exposure to him if you don't want to eat that ownership. This is betting, like I said, against Bramlett and those Bermuda greens. And I think Yeager is going to be one of those chalky DFS options, and for good reason. I don't think he's a bad play, and he's someone I'll have exposure to in my pool. But I think we take a really good play, and we bet against the guy that I think is going to end up struggling here.
Steven Yeager. Mangone somehow picked a matchup with two guys I've never heard of in the same matchup. That might be MVP-esque right there.
I will say I saw Snyder smiling. I'm wondering if he has the opposite side of the board. If we're gonna have a little button be hit here.
No.
Snyder could also have been smiling at the chat because Kurt just continues to be the life of the party with his almond milk, with his hashtag how rich cereal at 9:00 at night.
Snyder just brought up breast milk. I want to try breast milk straight from the titty so bad.
That's good.
I want to try that so bad, dude. Like, it's honestly one of my bucket list things. You
can have this talk with Holden. Holden loves this conversation. He has tried to strike this. He's tried to strike this one up with me, and I have denied this one. So
it's kind of sweet though.
It's a great Holden conversation.
Mommy, I need milky.
Kurt, that type of behavior often earns people a timeout, so settle the fuck down. Thank you very much. Dennis, I'll say this, Dennis, and I'll let the guys confirm whether I'm right or wrong. I'm pretty sure that Rick Run Good site, is that the site?
Yeah.
He's looking for live stats, for the tournament, while it's going on.
Yeah, he's good.
Rick Run Good is when I play DFS for golf, it's not often, but when I do or I make outrights, I just only use that site. That site seems to have all the best data.
Yeah,
at least for live.
Yeah, there's a lot of different sites that have that stuff. I know Fantasy Golf National, some of that stuff. And then there's the what's the cut maker one, Snyder? People love that. The cut percentage one. What is that?
Data Golf.
Oh, cut sweats.
Yeah, cut sweats and data golf are a couple other ones that people like for sure. So dabble in those. Obviously, we're a little different than those sites, but if you want to check out some stuff, they got some interesting information.
So final notes, and as we've been doing recently, final notes begins with who I believe is the show MVP. And I think it goes without saying that Curtis wins MVP today because of his almond milk and expensive taste in cereal. It got the chat going today. So without a doubt, you are MVP. Anything you'd like to, maybe you want to talk on some of the other reasons why you're so rich in terms of the other meals you're eating during the day. Maybe you want to talk on what you think this tournament's going to be like. Maybe you want to vent on some personal problems you're having in your life about moving to Florida. Whatever you want, floor is yours.
Yeah, so I eat a lot of cauliflower-based stuff. So cauliflower breaded chicken today with some cauliflower rice is the go-to. So if you are looking to lose weight, the biggest so I actually today bought a regular bag of rice. It has one bag which I would eat 90 grams of carbs. Yeah, so how about you all not eat rice? Switch to cauliflower, get abs, get chlamydia like I do every week. It's a vibe, I'm telling you. So. Yeah, or not, or you can keep what you're doing and live happy.
I'll be honest, Kurt. You want to talk about a plot twist? That was going in a good direction, nutritionally speaking, and then at some point you just slipped in that eating that fashion has gotten you chlamydia. Yeah. It was just a weird segue. I don't know how accurate that is or isn't. I don't know the science behind it. But either way, keep up the good work. Mangone.
Did you say cauliflower weird? Cauliflower. That's my
cauliflower. Yeah.
My South in me.
Mangone, on your end, would you like to comment on Kurt's comments or any final notes on your side?
Yeah, one thing I'm not doing is I'm not walking in my Chipotle line and she says, "What would you like on it?" And I say burrito, and I'm not going to say cauliflower instead of my damn rice. Give me my rice, please. I'm not going to switch it up. I'm not going to ask for cauliflower in there. I'm good, Kurt. So I'll save that for you. We'll probably find out 20 years from now that cauliflower gives you cancer or something. But I'm out on the cauliflower. But should be a fun event. Obviously we've had a little bit of a nice break from the NBA DFS streets. I know a lot of people in the chat, you guys play DFS. We've had some NHL, some college basketball, a lot of good times. The showdown content's been awesome, but I'm excited to have NBA DFS back tomorrow. I feel like I can get back to the norm before I get to sweat out some March Madness with the boys in a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's definitely closing in. Snyder, on your end, last but not least, final notes. Anything you'd like to add? Obviously, the Soldiers, or dare I say, Snyder's shoulders was a hit again this week. Might want to rename that show, by the way. I think it might have a nice little glowing touch to it. But anyway, final notes from you and what you're looking forward to this week.
Yeah, looking forward to this event. I think we're going to see a ton of carnage. There's going to be a lot of tilting going on in the chat room, so it's going to be pretty fun to watch. So much water, so much danger in play here. The showdown's going to be up as well. We're going to have the showdown show tomorrow, me and Tambo, and then me and Kurt will be on the showdown show Saturday. So looking forward to that. Use the promo code Snyder15 also to get yourself 15% off, which includes SaberSim, which is the top optimizer in the best far above the best for PGA with the live leaderboard and all that for Showdown. It's just absolutely elite. Snyder 15 gets you 15% off there. And yeah, check out the rest of our premium content. We got the playbook, the cash chart, AP's heat map, Big T's player pulls up. Mangone's got a core, Kurt's got a core, I got a core. Maybe we'll even get JJ getting some DFS love in as we get the season going.
Yeah, far chance, but I guess crazier things have happened. I
think a new segment we should add is by the end of the show, Dunkel gives a show core, right? It's basically all the information he's gathered and listened to. What's the core for the show? I think that would be a good segment.
I'm open to that. I am open to that. We can't start this show because I didn't really pay attention to anything you guys said.
Yeah, we can do future shows. This is a rough week, right? It doesn't have to be every week. Like this week is a bit rough one, but definitely like majors, some bigger boy fields. I think that makes some sense.
Yeah, I need to name
guys next week and then the players.
Half the field, I don't even know who these guys are, so it would have been a tough week to do it. With all that said, thank you everybody for tuning in the chat, obviously for watching as well. Thank you, Kurt, for making the show just a tad bit more enjoyable with your expensive breakfast. As always, folks, gamble responsibly, stay safe. Yes, run pure, and we'll catch you guys next week.